Why, hello, tube. Take two. First take. 5 minutes in, I had a coughing fit. Got a cough drop in. Got a Coke Zero cherry vanilla. Get some carbonation going. Got a little head stuff going on. I apologize for the extra loud breathing uh, and stuffiness and coughing. And I'm sorry. We're here today for Humble the Poet, How to Be Loved. Down below I have an affiliate link. If you decide you want to get this book and you haven't already, click the affiliate link down below to bookshop.org. You get an awesome book. I get a little taste of the action. And everyone wins, especially Humble the Poet, because he needs to sell a bunch of books. So, Humble the Poet, he's a rapper, spoken word poet, international best-selling author, according to his own bio. Got a couple of his books I pulled out, Unlearn and Things No One Else Can Teach Us. It's backwards on my screen. Excuse me. But it's kind of funny because he's self-admittedly pretty bad at loving himself and I guess other people, his relationships and stuff. He very much talks about openly in his books, and it's just kind of funny that he decides to write this book. So on the face, it doesn't work that great. That you're taking advice from someone who admittedly is pretty bad at loving himself and or others. I don't mean that also like he's just a jerk to other people. I don't know him. I don't know him. But I'm just saying, it's like relationship wise, he doesn't seem to be very lucky. Finds love in all the wrong places, as the song says. And so that's kind of weird. Kind of weird book for him to write. However, as a whole, I liked it. It's not groundbreaking, but let's face it, if there's you're not going to pick up wellness books, self-help books, whatever you want to call these things. Does it say on the back what it technically is? Don't really see it. You're not going to find a whole lot of original information, but that's okay because whether it be Humble the Poet or Ryan Holiday makes a bajillion dollars a year, basically talking about 2,000-year-old philosophy, and no one seems to really care. So, you can't really go into these looking for new groundbreaking material. However, Humble the Poet seems like a very genuine dude. I just think, I think he's trying. I think maybe he's not the perfectest person in the world when it comes to love and being loved and loving others, but I really do feel like that he's making an attempt. So it makes this book going from being just silly, like how can he write about love and being loved, to being all right, this is a dude that is genuinely trying to do better, and he's flawed like everybody else, but he's making the attempt and he's trying to make everybody else's life better too. Sorry, I know that's probably pretty annoying watching me slurp drinks of cherry vanilla Coke Zero, but trying to avoid another coughing fit. But there's one chapter in particular that really spoke to me. Chapter 13. And I thought I'd read it, attempt to read it, do my best, because if I start coughing again, I'll probably just say screw it and get myself out of this video, and we're just going to upload and go and get along with it. All right. How to put yourself first without being selfish. So this is it's only like 3 pages really. So bear with me here. How to put yourself first. That was gross. I'm sorry. Now you got downing cokes. How to put yourself first without being selfish. Saying no to people is hard. I still struggle with it, especially with people who won't take no for an answer. It could be a favor or a social obligation, or wanting me to help them move. Footnote: if you're over 30, don't ask your friends to help you move, saying someone's going to get hurt. It feels easier to say yes to them than justifying why you don't want to, because let's be honest, saying I don't want to rarely feels like an option. The challenge here is when you realize that saying yes to something means saying no to something else, probably something else that matters more to you, which some of the minimalist people say a lot. So, very common. Yeah, if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. If I say yes, I'll go out drinking with my buddies. I'm saying no to me being at home, chilling with a good book, with my fam, with my dog, you know, recharging my batteries. Of all the love we seek to experience, it's the love for self that will have the biggest impact on our lives. It'll decide how much love we receive from others and how well we treat ourselves. The process. Oh, don't start. That process of self-love is based on the ever-improving relationship we have with ourselves. That means, and this is highlighted, we have to make ourselves a priority, just like any other important relationship we have. So in each chapter, the chapters are really short. They have little highlighted sections of, just kind of pound in what he's trying to get across. Highlighted again. So often we put the needs of others before our own because we don't want to look selfish or have the other person like us any less. What ends up happening is we become martyrs who think there's some sort of honor that comes from putting others before ourselves, even when it's one-sided. And this doesn't even just go for people; it goes for employers too. You got to set those boundaries with your employer because I'm hourly, so if I'm punched in, I'm getting paid, and anything over 40 is time and a half. But you salaried people out there, don't offer to do a last minute report that's going to take 20 hours of your 48 hours of weekend for free. Don't do it. Oh yeah, well, it'll look good on your it'll look good on your on your review here in 8 months. First of all, they ain't gonna remember what you did 8 months ago. Second of all, you do the work today, you get paid today. Because who's to say you're even gonna be here 8 months from now? And three, C, that raise is good and all if you do actually get it, if you get acknowledged for your hard work and dedication and you get that raise. Essentially you just gave the company, 8 months of deferred payment on a project that you busted your rear end for. Um, you know, you might win some favors with the boss man, but you know, unless you work for yourself or maybe you work for a nonprofit or something, we're all there to get paid. I'm not looking to donate my time to my time and energy to a billionaire that doesn't know my name or stockholders that don't give two craps, haven't put a lick of energy in where I work, but yet get paid more than I do every year. So just a little food for thought, just a little side rant. The truth is, there is no honor in it. It's romanticizing people pleasing and another way to chase validation. It's not sustainable if our needs are continually unmet because we are too busy being there for others. Resentment and self pity are sure to follow, and both those are shrinking pathways to love. The lack of selfishness we're displaying is really just making us ineffective people. It makes us less useful and valuable to ourselves and those we care about. We can't help others if we don't help ourselves. And this is oh no, it's not this quote, but So this is highlighted here. Ignoring our own needs will make it harder to be there for others that matter most. Your family, you know, your kids, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your whatever. Those are the people that matter, not the stockholders, not the not the executive that gets to fly private and play golf for 70 hours a week. They're not the ones that matter. You are the ones that matter, the people closest to you. That will damage our relationships with ourselves blocking and the I don't know why I'm on when he's obviously talking about friends, but I get, work. My employer likes to test their boundaries sometimes, so I guess I relate more to work than friends since I don't have any friends. I lost all my friends in the divorce. But that's another story. That will damage our relationships with others, blocking the flow of love and further creating a dependency on the approval of others. I am not encouraging you to say screw everyone else. I am. I'm saying in order to discover more self love and to actually have juice in our battery to be there for others, we have to put our needs first because the most important community we're a part of is the community of ourselves. That community consists of us and the present and every future version of ourselves. Footnote. You know, you now, you 3 hours from now, tomorrow, you next week, you in 5 years. That's the community. Kind of a silly footnote. We need to make more decisions that take our future selves into consideration. That's a little annoying because it's like a single sentence paragraph followed by another single sentence paragraph. How will skipping the gym to rediscuss Debbie's latest of 13 breakups in her on again, off again relationship impact me in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years? Those three versions of you matter, as well as every other subsequent future version of you. It's the reason you wash those dishes before going to bed. It's because you don't want to leave the mess for a future you to deal with. Unless, of course, you're Homer Simpson and deferring responsibility to future me is your favorite pastime. Footnote. I completely understand why it's easier to be there for others than it is to be there for ourselves. What other people think of us matters, especially no, it doesn't. Especially when we don't have a strong relationship with ourselves. I can give two craps less of what you think of me, or my neighbor thinks of me, or my boss thinks of me, because I'm just me. Just me. I am who I am. Been this way for 39, almost 40 years. Ain't going. Ain't going to change a whole lot. I don't go out of my way to be a jerk or anything, but at the end of the day, why does it matter that, if the person behind me in line at the grocery store doesn't like my face or something? It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Also, we're not as clear with our own needs compared to that with others ask of us. We know what they want, while we kind of think what we maybe know what's important. If we're not clear, okay, let's highlight it. If we're not clear with our needs, we'll always be saying yes to everyone else's demands. That's because we haven't taken the time to figure out if they match up or get in the way of our own needs. The reason we haven't been clear with our own needs is because we're scared. Being vague is a language of fear. We're scared we don't hit our mark, so we don't bother choosing something to aim at to begin with. What we fail to acknowledge is that we can't hit a mark we don't aim for. Making any decision from fear is taking us away from love. To have better relationships for ourselves and further open pathways to love in our own lives, we have to make the time and be clear on what we expect from life. The more detailed, the better. The more detailed, the better. It's its own paragraph. That little, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 word paragraph. It's I get it. It's making things pithy, but I don't know. It's kind of silly. I have to be clear with my loved ones. I can't spend more than 2 or 3 hours with them because then I may get overwhelmed and become a grouchy beauty. Just wait till you have kids. You're not gonna have much say in that. Grandma's gonna come over as long as she wants. Trust me. I may not be able to go into detail to explain that as a creative. I have to protect my peace and my mental wealth through doing the things I need to do for myself. If I don't feel good, I'm not of any value to anyone else. That may be leaving the party early or not attending the party at all. Just like you, I'm afraid of disappointing others, but highlighted, I, like you, am slowly realizing that it doesn't matter what others think about me if I don't like myself. I mean, it doesn't matter what people think of you, period, because um, if your friends don't get you, they're not your friends. If your family doesn't get you, I am probably the worst person to talk about this because I've dropped more family members out of my life than a lot of people have family members. I just don't put up with anybody's crap. And if you're blood, it doesn't mean anything to me. If you're blood and you're annoying or you're drunk or you're, obnoxious or always trying to pick fights and drama, I don't care. I mean, I have an aunt that's like that, and I haven't seen her since my grandma died. I'm perfectly happy, you know. Let them let them be miserable. Doesn't it, I mean it's not we don't want to see our family and friends miserable, but if they want to be miserable, they're just going to be miserable. You know. It doesn't mean that they need to be miserable around you. So so to further love myself, I have to identify my needs as clearly as possible and put them first. Through through doing so, I begin to feel and I begin to feel better and need others people's validation much less. Um, I'm struggling with reading this isn't the lack of Humble the Poet's um, um, uh, talent. It's just me tripping over every single word I'm trying to talk. Whatever. Our relationships are the most important thing we have in this human experience. Our relationship with ourselves is the most important one of them all. Without a strong relationship with ourselves, we are limiting our ability to have growing relationships with others. The selfishness we should avoid is not one where we put ourselves first. Now, this is the highlighted one that is, if I didn't get, you know, this is the one thing that stuck with me the most through this whole book, and it's just so powerful. Real toxic selfishness is expecting of others to put us first. Let me reread that because I feel like I said that backwards. Real toxic selfishness is expecting others to put us first. I think that was a little more clear. Anyone that expects you to put their needs before yours is the one being selfish, and you have to get to a point where you love yourself enough to bend those demands. Highlight it again. No is a complete sentence. Um, be that best friend to yourself and put your needs first and make sure those needs are clear and can be shared with everyone. The more you stand up for yourself, the less others can and will try to run you over. The more your own needs are met and more you'll be able to help others. So you read, the major points are highlighted, and then at the end of each chapter there's a little what he wants you to kind of go home with. So if we're not clear with our needs, we'll always be saying yes to everyone else's demands. But the real toxic selfishness is expecting others to put you first. Oh my God, yes. Yes. If it's I mean that's a whole video on its own, isn't it? it's kind of it's like a narcissistic guilt trip that so many people have that I don't think they realize that they're doing is when if you have somebody that you know you're one day off in the week and they want you to I don't know go see a play or whatever. They want you to do something that you have absolutely no interest in doing, and it's going to take half your day. and you don't want to do it, you saying no isn't the selfish part. Them expecting you to say yes after you've explained, hey, I've had a really long week. I've got one day off. I got all this stuff I have to get done. I appreciate the thought, but I'm just not going to be able to go. And if they're like, you're not being the selfish one, they are. Even if you had the easiest week ever playing PlayStation all week, you just don't want to go. You just don't want to go, or whatever. You're not being selfish. You're putting you first, and that's what you should do because you know there's so many people that just ask, but never give. And and I'm not saying that occasionally throw a bone, be like, oh, I really don't want to go out and have beers with the guys, but it's been 6 months and it's been a lot longer than 6 months. But they want to whatever. Sometimes just do it. Just bite the bullet and do it. But it doesn't need to be all the dang time, right? Not all the dang time. So, yeah. So, How to Be Loved by Humble the Poet. Overall, it's a decent book. That, like I said, that chapter 13 really spoke to me. I had that yes sister moment with that one quote about the real toxicity is the person that expects you to do the stuff you don't want to do. Um, that is the facts. If you don't want to see certain family members and your mother is bugging you about it, too dang bad. Too dang bad. I don't know how many times I've ticked off my mother or whatever over the um last however long I've just because I don't want to be surrounded by people they're just plain out toxic. So if I know Aunt Crazy is going to be at the family breakfast, I'm not showing up. Even if there's a 10% chance that Aunt Crazy is going to be at the family breakfast, still not showing up. You could probably say there's a 99%. I'd still be like, no, there's still that 1% chance that Aunt Crazy is going to be there, and just it's going to get ugly. And just even thinking about it, being like, more than likely, Aunt Crazy isn't going to show up. But you're until that lunch is over, breakfast or whatever, you're going to keep in the back of my mind. Is she going to? Is going to lead to stress and anxiety you don't need. So just say no. Just say no. You know. But yeah. I think that's it for this one, peeps. Humble the Poet, How to Be Loved. Affiliate link down below if you want to buy this book. I do a horrible job trying to like get people enthusiastic to buy to buy books after I talk about them, because either they click off way too early, or they're probably like, I ain't reading that. I ain't so humble. I'm sorry if I cost you some sales. But overall, I think it's a pretty good, solid book. I read it in a couple sittings. I mean, it's 300 pages, but it's a really quick read. And and these books, man, and like I said, they may not be original, they may not be groundbreaking, but if you can get a handful of nuggets out of them, I really think they are worth reading. And not just getting them out of them, but incorporating them into your life. You can read all the books, all the wellness, self-help, religious, philosophy, all those books. You can read all the ones you can ever read. But unless you're absorbing the information and trying to actually incorporate the good stuff in your life, doesn't matter what you might just be reading Junji Ito's Uzumaki about deadly spirals. So, cheers, peeps.